Welcome back to another edition of Where's My Fish Room? I've lost it. Okay, so we've been working. We've been working quite a bit. My paint easel is here, as you can tell. Anyhow, we've been working on the fish room here. As you know, we were working on the electrical, and now most of the electrical is done. We've expanded a bunch of stuff. I made some changes because I wanted to, for convenience. There's a lot of things that have been added and kind of subtracted and moved around, and if you look up into the ceiling, there's a lot less of the chaos wires that were up there. As was told to me, the previous owner of this house was an electrician. Seems doubtful from the work throughout the building here, but you never know. Could be like a mechanic's car, you know. It runs, but it's not pretty, you know, kind of deal. So hard to say, but regardless of that, I've been going through and tearing all that crap out and replacing it, which took a little more time than expected, but I'm just a one-man guy working on the project whenever I get free time. And luckily, things are moving along. There's a random board here that's sticking straight up. This is that Rockwell stand that I use. This thing is supposed to be for setting cabinets, and it works awesome for setting cabinets. Like, you put a board in it, you clamp it down, it does all the angles, it rises up slowly, you can crank it up and down, all that kind of stuff. Works really well, but it also works well to hold my wire spool, right? And it also works well to hold my super archaic line level. And it works out great because I can just move it around. I don't have to worry about sticking anything to anything. I just move it wherever I need to be, and it's a big helper, that extra hand, you know? Everybody needs an extra hand, especially when they're working on something. One of the things that you'll notice is that we have electrical outlets up high, which I have found on numerous occasions to be extraordinarily useful, and this is the one thing that I might get in trouble from the inspector, is that these outlets are technically too high. But they're use case outlets, so I should be okay. They should be cool with that. Shouldn't be a big deal. We've got all of our runs for the back wall in. We've got our runs up above. We've got our 30 amp nonsense, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about. Then all of the outlets that run down here, the outlets that run up above, and all of the runs in here are all individual runs, and then all the light runs are separate, being an existing old run that was some of the worst wiring I've seen in forever was in this box, and that one's not great, but I opened it up, looked at it, and was like, it's still good, so we're just gonna leave it. Although my OCD might set in and this box and that box are not the same height, that will be the deciding factor of whether or not I replace that light switch there, because I might end up relocating it over there, because it actually runs an exterior light that is on a motion sensor and whatnot. So this basically turns on a motion sensor light, which we don't even really use because it's right at head height and just shines directly in your eyes if you happen to be outside. So we normally leave that one off, and then we have other lights outside that do that. Something I thought was super funny, if you notice this marking right here, that is the marking for a light. There's supposed to be an exterior light here outside the door. This is typical in any construction, that you would have a light outside a doorway, and strangely enough, they never did it. The marking here for the exterior light is for a motion sensor. As you can see, it looks like a two light dealy bob. The marking is there, and that one is there, but where's that light? So my thought here was that I'll pull this box, put a 2-gang box in this spot, lower it down so it's in line with the others, and then add the switch leg that goes up to that so that I have an exterior light and then keep that light, you know, just for the sake of like maybe updating it, but who knows? We'll see how it goes. Anyhow, the outlets are all in, like I said, and nobody really cares too much about that stuff. But here's our networking. Some people were asking about this, how I was going to do the networking in here, whether it's Cat 5, Cat 6, whatever. So we're probably going to run Cat 6 cable, but this is how I do it. I use some of the seal type pipe and plumb it in so it goes all the way up to a box up at the top, and they're orange so that you know that they are just for networking. And then I'll be able to run a Cat 6 cable down here, super easy. Then I can, you know, set up the cover plate with however many I want, which probably won't be very many. It's most likely going to come down into here and junction up at the box up at the top, and then run over to the other side because I'm likely going to use Cat 6 cable to run to a box over here so that I can have a camera hooked up to Ethernet that runs through an HDMI converter to Ethernet over to the stream desk over there. Both of my desks are going to be set up there with all of the screens, plus another desk is going to be going in so that when I have guests, they can comfortably sit and we'll be able to stream here. This run right here is 11 feet, which probably, you know, most people are like, 11 feet, no big deal, but that's actually plenty of space for desks and all that kind of stuff. This run right here, and then plus that, and everything will definitely make sense once it's all in. Something that's been extraordinarily time consuming is this. If you notice, there's a lot of extra blocking in. All of these extra pieces of wood, you know, I gotta cut it, I gotta drill it, I gotta put it in, and there's actually gonna be one more here, one more up there, one here, and one more here, I believe is all of them off of my sketches. It's so all this backing is for cabinets, shelves, and mounting things, right? So like for instance, if you wanted to put a big TV up here, like let's say you wanted to put a big screen TV up here, this blocking goes in at a specific height so you know you can mount your big heavy mounts. Some of the mounts that I have are like this. Oh my God, I just knocked over a box. Some of the mounts I have like this are essentially like a camera / lighting arm. I believe this is for, I don't know, I don't want to be wrong, but I don't think it's the specific application of what I use it for. I think it's for studio something, I don't know, I forget. But these are really useful. Obviously, you have to screw them in, mount them so that they don't fall off the wall, and that's one of the big reasons for all of this blocking around. You know, I have monitors that need to get mounted to the wall, screens, all that kind of stuff, and then I'm going to have a ton of shelving and stuff that runs along up here that all will do specific things, which I'll probably make videos about that and show you guys what that's all about. But that's where we're at right now. We're going to go ahead and cut up the rest of the blocking, get these mounted in, and call this part done, and then it's sticky insulation time. You know, it's grody insulation time. Get all the little bits of insulation on me and whatnot, and I definitely hate that part. I hate that part. I don't like the insulation part. I'm not a super big fan of the insulation, but we gotta have it. And once we do, that means it's drywall time. Once it's drywall time, things will start going downhill so fast. Do all the trim out, all that kind of stuff. Put all the rest of the lights in. As you can see, we have like old lights in here that will need to go. We'll need to get rid of all those old lights and put in some new can lights. But you know, can lights are pretty cheap these days, and actually, I wanted to, I don't know where they are. They're somewhere. I wanted to point out the RGB lights that I really like to use, because you can just screw them into an old existing socket. I thought I had some of them sitting out so that when I shot the video, I'd be able to pick them up and go like, these are the light bulbs. But I don't know where they went. They're somewhere around here. But things are more orderly, but still I'm missing things. But regardless, they'll be found. So either way, if anybody wants to know what those lights are, this is all the way at the end of the video. So if you want to know, leave a comment, subscribe, become a member, do all of the things. If you're looking forward to fish tanks, so am I. So appreciate your guys' time and patience, and everybody just hanging in there. We're just going to keep one step forward at a time, because that's the only way we can. And all right, update complete.